Hello, welcome back. I'm excited to bring you another episode, which is episode 4 of this series, The Manager and the Man. You know, I introduced this back in May, and the goal of these episodes is kind of offer a behind the scenes of how we operate here at LiveWell. So throughout the series, I kind of aimed to highlight both our successes and our failures as well. But today I want to touch on a topic that might seem simple kind of on the surface, but to me and probably to many, it's a challenge. And today we're going to talk about habit and routine. So as I've learned and I continue to grow in this role and connect with more people outside, whether that be school officials, principals, social workers, counselors, city officials, seasoned professionals, entrepreneurs, I've noticed that building consistent habits and routine, it's probably one of the hardest things to master because it's not just about discipline, it's about sustainability, it's about having the right mindset, it's about the systems that we create around us. So I believe when you first start an organization, you are solely responsible for building everything from the ground up. That's the systems for your teams. That's how your meeting structures are, the policies that support your mission. You know, it's not about just sitting around a table and implementing ideas, but you're kind of coming together to do that framework that holds everything together. So if you are watching this or listening to this and you're telling yourself, you know, Jovanni, I really want to start my own nonprofit or my own business, but honestly, I'm not as organized, I'm not structured, then do us all a favor and don't do it. But let me be real with you. If you do want to do it, then you're going to need to surround yourself with people who can help you build that structure. I truly believe no organization or business can thrive on the surprise factor every week. That's really exhausting. You need systems in place to support your goals, to support your team, your growth. You know, I truly believe that the habits, the routines, the systems that you build within your company, they're the bridge. They're the bridge that connects your employees. They're the bridge that connects your clients, your customers, and overall your community. So I want to give you this fact, the stat. The longest bridge in the world is in China. And that bridge is called, and hopefully I say this right and I'm not offending anyone, it's the Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge, the Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge. It stretches over 102 miles. You know, it was engineered to withstand earthquakes, typhoons, even direct impacts from naval vessels weighing over 300,000 tons. So, you know, its primary function is to hold and carry the Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway. I got my words everywhere. The Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway. It reduces travel time between two cities from 10 hours to under 5. But here's the part that resonates with me the most. It took 4 years to build. And think about that, 4 years. It's a bridge that connects millions of people. It's built to endure extreme conditions. It took years of planning, engineering, and execution. But yet many of us start a business, a nonprofit, or implement a new system in our department and expect it to thrive in 4 months. So if you truly believe in what you're building, whether it's your company, whether it's a movement, whether it's a system, it's going to take time. The systems, the habits, the routines you create, they're the bridge that connects your vision and your employees, your clients, and overall, like I said, your community. So I can only imagine that most passengers on the train that we talked about, they probably admired the scenery. They appreciated the convenience from getting, from 10 hours, shortening it to 5 hours. But I'm pretty sure a few understood the sweat going into it, the planning, the sacrifice to make it possible. And I think the same goes for leadership. When what people see on the surface, it's only possible because of the structure that's beneath it. So today, I want to give you 3 practices that I believe every organization or department should kind of implement to build a strong foundation. I know we do it here at Live Well, and it really, really helps us out. So the very first one I want to give you is schedule regular one-on-ones. To schedule regular one-on-ones. Make it a priority to get these one-on-one meetings on your calendar with the people, your direct reports, the people that you work with. This is especially important because your business is run by people, and it's the people that drive your systems. It's the people that get the work done. Is it their job? Yes, it's their job. Did they sign the offer letter? Yes, they signed the offer letter. But as quickly as they accepted that role, they can choose to leave as well. So at Live Well, we kind of aim to hold these at least once a month. We call them O3s, one-on-one. Minimum once a month. So these meetings are not just about performance. They're kind of just a chance to check on your team, see how they're doing personally, how their families are, what challenges they're facing, and just how you can support them. Sometimes it's just about being a listening ear. Other times it's about bringing clarity to something, what they've been struggling with. I've heard of many workplaces or jobs where the employees never hold a one-on-one or hardly speak to their supervisors. And I know and I believe that's a recipe for disaster. So whether it is just going to get coffee, to get lunch, or in the office, just make it happen. Whether it's half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, these conversations are important. And if they're that important as well, if you go over some important details in that one-on-one, I would just send a follow-up email to recap what was discussed in the next step. So number 1, to schedule regular one-on-ones. So number 2, which is another important point, is you gotta establish clear policies and standards. Number 2 is establish clear policies and standards. One of the most important habits you can build into your organization is setting clear expectations and standards. I said this before, to be clear is to be kind. To be clear is to be kind. I've learned that if you don't define the standard, people will default to what they think is best. What's your policy if someone shows up late? What's the expectation if someone doesn't respond to an email? You see, these things might seem small, but man, they add up and they matter. We often assume that these are common sense, and maybe to you it is. But trust me, you have to be crystal clear. Even with something as simple as company vehicles and keys. Where do the keys go? Do they go on this wall, the south wall? Do they go on the north wall? Is there a certain place do I sign out on? Do I sign back in? These are the kind of details that need structure. They need structure. I tell the people that work around me or work closely with me, talk to me like I'm a 3-year-old. Talk to me like I'm 3 years old. That's how clear I want things to be for me. Because when there's no system or no standard, people will always revert to their default behavior. And while some employees may go above and beyond, others may do bare minimum. So it's essential that everyone understands the company's expectations. That is really important. You see, policies and standards aren't to me, policies and standards aren't just about control. They're about clarity. They're about consistency. They're about building a good culture in that. So number 1 was schedule your regular one-on-ones. Number 2 is establish clear policies and standards. And number 3, which is, this is the last point, but number 3, which is an important point as well, is you got to build a culture of appreciation. Got to build a culture of appreciation. No matter who you are, Everyone wants to feel appreciated for the work they do. A paycheck alone isn't enough. If you want to build a thriving culture, you need to find meaningful ways to celebrate your people, your teams, the people that work closely with you. Too often, we treat employees like machines. We treat them like robots, expecting them to think and operate exactly as we do. But that's not the reality. That is not the reality. At Live Well, we created this fun way, an intentional way to show appreciation. And so what we created, I want to say 2 to 3 years ago, we created something called the Killer Bees. So each week, we send out an email reminding staff to just write a shout out, someone who's gone above and beyond. And at the end of the month, the person who gives and receives the most shout outs, they get a gift card. It's that simple, but it makes a huge impact to the work, to your culture. So, this month, for the next 3 to 4 months, we're promoting our core values. So, for example, this month we're highlighting no sidelines. That's one of our values, is no sidelines. So if someone sees a teammate stepping up outside their normal responsibilities, they can write a shout out and just tag after that shout out, no sidelines. And then we tally that up and that person gets a gift card as well. Appreciation doesn't have to be expensive as well. Thank you, a note, a genuine compliment, that goes a long way with people. Many of us, I know I've worked in jobs where the pay was not great, but we stayed because of the culture. It was really hard for me to leave some jobs. Again, the pay wasn't great, but because my boss, the leaders around me, they made me feel valued in my one-on-ones, when I walked through the hallway. It made me, it really second guess, do I really want to leave here because of my manager, my boss? So number 3 is you have to build a culture of appreciation. So those are the 3 points of the professional. Now, of the manager, we're gonna go into the man, the personal side, my personal habits and my routines. I am not normal. I'm not normal. There's a lot that goes on this brain of mine. But professionally, I thrive on structure. I really thrive on structure. And I would say personally, it's kind of similar, but a little bit more flexibility. Still, I think, and I believe the two they have to coexist. You can't be highly disciplined at work and completely disorganized at home. In my experience, I never met someone who's a type A at work and everything's neat and organized, but when you go to their apartment or home, they live like Oscar the Grouch. I've never really seen that. But sometimes you see is what you get. But I know you can always work on things. And that said, all habits and routines are a work in progress, so we can improve. So one of my personal habits and one of my proudest habits is I like to budget. I've been budgeting consistently since I was around 23 years old. So you would say 14 years. Every month, during the last week of the month, I sit down with my spreadsheet and notes, and I'm a budgeting nerd. I plan out the upcoming month. I review bills, upcoming expenses, anything else that really might affect my finances. So, not only has this habit, got me sitting down and going through numbers, but it's also helped me build the discipline to maintain a 3 to 6 month emergency fund and manage kind of multiple accounts. So it's kind of thinking ahead. And it's made me a forward thinker. Often planning, 2 to 3 months ahead of what my financial situation might look like. So that is one personal habit that I'm proud about. Another personal habit is my reading or listening to a podcast. So every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, I like to listen to a chapter or a podcast right when I get up in the morning, when my brain is kind of cooking. Whether it's a leadership book, like I said, a podcast on emotional intelligence, on myself, the trauma I've been through, or financial management. I committed to this, and I committed to this since November 2019, Monday through Friday. And I remember that month vividly because we had an outreach conference. At the time, our nonprofit hosted an outreach conference. And we invited this pastor who said something to me and my brother. We're at Portillo's. I remember we're at Portillo's. That lit a fire in me. So that year in 2019 of April, we were going out to the community, passing out hot dogs and all that, and getting to know the community, and just building relationships. And while I think that day at Portillo's, I don't think he said it maliciously, but I took it personal. But he said this, you guys are doing something great. Going on in the community, you're helping, but all you're doing is just passing out hot dogs. And that moment kind of changed me deeply. I told myself that day, November 2019, I'm gonna learn how to do more for the community. And that's when the habit began of reading and listening and growing and watching YouTube videos. And I just wanted to grow and grow and grow and be ready, because I live by a quote. And the quote is, you can never determine your opportunities, but you can always determine your readiness. I knew the opportunities would come. That day in 2019 where we were just passing out hot dogs, but I knew the opportunities would come, and I just wanted to be prepared. I wanted to be ready for it. So that habit, has shaped me to the man I am today, and continues to shape me of how I think, how I lead, and how I serve. So that's one habit I'm also proud about. Another habit that I haven't mastered yet, and that I'm actively working on, is something that I started this year, is to really learning how to enjoy life in the moment. I shared this earlier that I'm a forward thinker. I'm always planning, I'm always anticipating what's next, and which is good, but that mindset has also become my Achilles heel in my personal life the past 6 to 7 years, if I can say. Whether that's birthdays, whether that's vacations, whether that's going to concerts, ballparks, ball games, parties. My mind often drifts to thoughts like, I'm happy now, but this is gonna be over. This is gonna be over soon. And that robs me of my joy that's right in front of me. So this year, I've made it a goal to practice just being present and to truly, truly enjoy fun events and what life has given me. I admire people who can do that naturally, who can fully immerse themselves in the now without worrying about what's next. That's why I believe, man, the personal and the professional habits, they're connected. The routines we build around life, how we influence one another, with support, with me, with support and intentionality, I'm learning that. I'm really learning that tomorrow is not promised. And because of that, I want to embrace the gift God gave me today. And I want to live life to the fullest today. I don't want to worry, for me, I believe in the Bible, and there's one verse, I think it's in Matthew, that says, seek first His kingdom and righteousness, and everything will be added to you. And that passage is saying, don't worry about tomorrow. And my mindset has always gone to worrying about tomorrow. So I've learned this year, 2025 at 37 years old, I want to be in the moment and today. So, hey, thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Manager and the Man. I'm glad you have come along this ride with me and just learning about how we do things at Live Well and how I do things in my personal life as well. I hope this has helped you. So if you're watching this, please subscribe to the East Valley Dream Center channel on YouTube. Thank you guys so much.